As you can tell from the title, I visited a idol cafe in Seoul. As I am uploading this video, I go to check the Instagram, and literally 5 days ago, they posted a notice that they're closing. So let's just watch this video under the assumption that I didn't know about this. Originally, this was gonna be a vlog because I was trying to get back into my vlogging era. 근데 after arriving into the cafe, I realized this is not gonna be a very good vlog because I can't film anything basically. So this is gonna be very like, this is my experience, my truth. Maid cafes, butler cafes, that sort of thing has been very popular, as we know, in Japan. And I don't know the history of them in Korea, but I feel like recently, at least because of Reels, they've been kind of appearing more with it in my radar, I guess. And then one day, Eddie's son, sent me a reels from this idol cafe in Hongdae.
아니 아이돌이 직접 서빙해주는 카페가 서울 한복판에 생겼다고요? 인생 내 것도 같이 찍고 폴라로이드도 같이 찍을 수 있다.
And he was like, we need to go here. I don't know why, but we mention it, forget about it, and then I'll send it to him, be like, we need to go here. And we keep sending the same reels over and over again to each other until finally I was like, okay, we literally need to try going here because I think it would be, girl, fun for content. I went to his house, we filmed a few episodes of the Double D, and we were like, let's go. Now it turns out you actually have to 예약 a time slot there, as in reserve a time. You can't just go. It's not just a cafe where you go and like sit down, because I feel like that's how it is in Japan, I think. But I guess timing or maybe space issues, you have to go to their Naver page. At least that's what I did. I went to their Naver page, go to the schedule, book the time in. Oddly enough, there was a lot of slots. The first slot started from around 2 p.m. There was one at every like hour or so up until like 8 p.m. I don't know. I don't remember. So I was like, okay, just pick any of the times, and then we booked it and we went. I was kind of triggered because if you're around during the era, around the time of the pandemic, I was doing this sort of Amazon live streaming thing on my YouTube channel, both on the Amazon streaming platform, which who the fuck uses that, and my YouTube channel. And if y'all remember, I fucking hated it. I hated it. I'm triggered because there was a lot of horrible memories associated with that time, horrible people, and the Idol Cafe happened to be next to the studio where we would do those live streams at. Anyway, it's called Neo. Why am I only mentioning it now? Neo Universe. It's an Idol Cafe. Edward, did you make sure that this cafe got your permission before they used your likeliness?
Use my live what?
We get there. It's on like the 3rd, 4th floor. First thing I noticed, curtains on the window. So I'm like, oh, probably privacy reasons. Let's say one of these girlies out here becomes obsessed, sassing fan level towards one of these idols. I say idols because I don't think they're actually training idols. I think this is just like the concept of the cafe, right? Just like the concept of the maid cafe is like these girls dress up like maids, and then we have these butlers dress up like butlers, even though they're all probably not maids or butlers in real life. They're giving you the fantasy, right? That's the true idol experience, giving you the fantasy. So we get there, closed door curtains, very shady. I almost thought it was closed because it was like dark inside, but I should have taken a picture or video of this. But there's like a rule sheet outside, so there's like different rules, which I guess makes sense. But some boy comes out who it turns out is going to be the one that's kind of like hanging out with us. Myungwol. 맞아. Myungwol. Oh my god, my little Myungwol. He came to greet us and he was like, oh, did you book? And we were like, yeah, of course. We wanted to call ahead of time yes, there were many Instagram reels and things that were filmed there, but I still wanted to make sure it's okay for me to film inside the cafe. So we tried to call beforehand, but girl, nobody was picking up. So we were like, oh, Eddie was like, oh, this is my friend. He's a YouTuber. And we wanted to ask if it's okay to film in here. And he's like, I'm not sure. We were like, well, we tried to call earlier, but y'all didn't pick up. He said it was okay to film, but there are certain members that didn't want to show their face, so we would have to put a mosaic over their faces, which makes sense. But I did find it interesting because on some reels, their faces would be mosaic, but in other reels, the same members wouldn't have their faces mosaic. So girl, I guess, it was me. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't put my concealer on, I didn't put my blush on, so please don't film. It was probably that sort of moment. Anyway, we get in. Oh my god, the first thing they do, all the members come out. First of all, really dark. This place is so dark. I don't know why mood light. It wasn't even moody. They turned one light on. It was very dark. I think most of the light was coming from the stage. There's like a little performance stage up in the back, but very dark. Anyway, all come out. They all greet you like, oh, 안녕하세요, Neoverse, whatever. If you're an awkward person, if you're an introvert, it's gonna be really weird. Whenever I collaborate with idols, the first thing they always do is when we enter like the studio or whatever, come together, 인사해. They introduce, oh, 안녕하세요, 뭐뭐뭐입니다. That's basically what they did. 그래서 인사했고, and they brought us to a table. Now there were quite a number of tables. It wasn't a huge cafe. It was like a pretty decent, it was like a medium-sized cafe, I guess. There were quite a number of tables, but a lot of them were empty. It was me and Eddie, and then it was two other teams of tables. There's one girl over here, which I'm going to talk about later, and there was a group of two girls on this side. At the time, there were 4 currently active idols at the time, as in the ones that were like on the floor, I guess. And there was some random girl working up at the cash register. And the whole system is basically, first of all, you gotta pay, I believe, for the ye약. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, you gotta pay, at least for 2 people, there is a 16,000 won fee. So this is where the fees start. Going to these cafes, honey, is not cheap. It begins with booking the thing, so that for 2 people starts at 16,000 won. So we come in, we sit down, and they show us a menu, basically. It's basically different variations of Polaroid, a cute, I don't know, like game sort of thing, a little, a grab bag sort of type of game. You can ask for performance, which I thought was funny because you can pick either half a song or a full song. And I forgot what the other stuff was. I'll put a little clip in here of the menu, but basically those different sets with different combinations of those different things. You pick the set that you want, you get a drink with it, of course, because it's a cafe, and girl, the drinks are cute. I ordered a strawberry latte, which delicious, but it was definitely one of those things where it was like 80% ice, 20% drink. This shit ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. So go to this idol cafe on your payday.
If you're ready, then you can call the aliens. They call themselves aliens, and they call us people from Earth.
We're the real aliens, so we picked our little set. I think we picked a set where it's like we get a Polaroid, we'll take a picture together, they'll sign it and everything and draw on it for you. And we also did like the random picking game. And then we also picked one where I think we like you can add additional things to it, like if you want to add a performance or if you want to add a Polaroid to your set or whatever. It's just very like customized, pick your own adventure type of thing. So we also added a little half performance.
It's called Half-Life. I'm not sure what Half-Life means.
Not a full life, just a half life. You get one verse. You get a TikTok basically. We didn't wanna tire the girls out, so we picked a half song, which is funny because he performed like up until the second chorus. In this day and age, in this TikTok era, with songs being fucking 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that's pretty much the whole song. So, and it was very interesting because you had certain idols kind of just walking around. Now, I do believe that the fact that me and Eddie were foreign, the whole time, like, oh my god, 정말 엄청 잘하시네요. You speak Korean so well. But because of the fact that we were a foreigner, that probably, I don't know if it's because they were like shy or whatever, which I'm pretty sure is like a big chunk of it, but they did definitely try to speak to us because, even though they were probably scared, like, oh my god, I can't speak English, right? But one of them actually visited the States at some point. Myungwoo, the one I mentioned just now, with the long hair, very pretty, so pretty. If I know you girls out there are into the idols with like the long hair, it's giving very much that. It was mainly him, and there was one other person, I forgot his name. Oh my god, I just remembered. His name is Uyeon, but his English name is Uranus. These two guys were the ones that were kind of like, I guess, entertaining us in a way, as in like conversating and like back and forthing with us. The table to our left, girl, what a fucking icon. Because in general, I'm not really much, I love K-pop, whatever, but I was never super big into the whole like the culture, like buying tons of albums. Back when I was like really into Monsta X, I would do the regular ticketing for their concerts and stuff. But most idol groups, if I can get a ticket from a friend or like a staff member that works with them, then I'll go. But that's like the extent of my like K-popping. I was never into like deep. I think the deepest I'd be into was waiting back when I was in the States. I was waiting till like God knows what time for that new Sonushide music video to drop. That's the extent. I remember I went to a Monsta X fan sign in Lotte World Mall. It was in a space where even if you didn't get into the fan sign, you could still watch from outside. So that was like my first experience with like the fan sign. But I have been in a few other spaces like, the broadcast stations with like the music shows where you definitely see like the weird ones. And not that the people that were at the cafe were weird, but there's definitely a type of idol fan that I've noticed where the vibe is very much like, I'm giving you all this money, I am paying for all this shit, I'm coming all the way here to see you. It's like this weird thing where it's like, on the outside, they look very nonchalant, like, I don't give a fuck about you, I don't care about you, the idol, but it's like, but you're here. and you're paying for his time. Because, honey, the girl on our left, Icon, she kept adding and adding. Well, I can't make it too dramatic because I wasn't there long enough for me to see all the adding, but you can definitely tell that she was like there. But I just thought it was funny because she keeps adding all these different services to add to her time. But despite all that, the whole time she doesn't look like she gave a fuck. She was just like, I don't know what was going on in her head, but me as a INTJ, honey, ISTP, INTJ, I just felt very like, okay, then why are you here, girl? Why are you here? The vibe was very like, I'm obsessed, but I can't look too obsessed, so I gotta do the opposite and overcompensate by looking like I don't give a fuck. The girls on our right were the more eccentric types, the very... Yes, they're fun. I guess they can be nice, but they're very aggressive. And because for me, I feel like if I'm as a fan, I'd be like, oh my god, hi, hello, oh my god, I love your music. But then there's the other type where it's very like, they treat idols like they're bros or something. Like, yeah, they're just very loud and aggressive. It was that type. So it's very opposite, I feel like.
The right table is giving like they come here regular.
Yeah, and they're like,
the left table is giving like, I don't really like her, but I'm just, I don't have too much money to burn. Like she's giving that casual.
I could be at better places, but I decided to give you my time. It's like that vibe.
But she kept adding on like money
to spend more time.
Yeah,
I love Icon. We got our drinks. Delicious strawberry latte. I think the first thing we did was like do the random pulling out sort of game thing.
Any other represent?
Edward got a Polaroid actually of, no, not Polaroid, like a little photo card of probably the most popular member, the most popular idol in that Neil Universe thing. And it turns out actually, I expected to see him there, but it turns out they all have schedules. They all got schedules. So depending on the day, because he told us there that actually if you go on the Instagram, you can see the schedule of each idol and see what days are going to be there. I didn't know about that, bro, because we were just like, let's book it. Let's get that content. So we didn't check that. So we had what was available at the cafe, which was... It was two tall guys and two kind of like shortish guys. Two of them were definitely more of like the boyfriend type of more, I don't want to say manly, but more cool guy types. And the two other ones, including Myungwoo, the one with the, long hair, and the other one were like the pretty types. And have to say, super sweet. To be honest, it's probably part of their job. And this is just my personal take. This is just my personal thinking, is that they probably felt some type of like escape talking to me and Edward just about like, because we were like, very like, oh my god, what's it like working here? Like, oh my god, you guys are like working so hard, like, very that type. Meanwhile, we got the other girls on the side, one of them being so passive aggressive, the other one's kind of just like they're just asking, oh, where are you from? Like, oh, what's your MBTI? We were playing that sort of game, like, oh, guess my MBTI. So we're all guessing each other's MBTIs. Very nice experience, actually, like in terms of like talking and speaking to them. Yes, if you can speak Korean, the experience is going to be much more enjoyable. So if you're a foreigner visiting Korea and you want to go to an idol cafe of this sort, then definitely bring a friend that can speak Korean if you can't speak Korean, because it will definitely make the experience much more enjoyable. But honestly, having sat there and talking to them and all that, oh, by the way, for the game, the little random game thing, I think I got a photo card as well of one of the guys that was there. I was looking at it and the guy came up and he's like, oh, you got my card, huh? And I was like, as a joke, really, I was like, oh my god, does that mean you should sign it now? He's like, sorry, I can't sign. It's very idle. It's very management, very like, oh, sorry, no signs, no autographs, no autographs. It's very much that.
I was an employee. And I was going to get Employee of the Month, and that's on period.
The vibe was very much kind of like a fan sign where, again, I haven't been to a fan sign, but I've seen clips, of course, and I know like the whole deal with it, like where you go up to your idol, you talk to them, whatever. It's like that, but you have more time with them, obviously, because you're paying for it. There was a little photo booth, like you could take like insignia cut, like, what is it called? The photo booth. They had one inside the cafe. We didn't do that because that was an additional sort of thing, and we were already getting our own little Polaroid. So what I did want, and I was like, we gotta have this for the video, was a performance, honey. At first I was like thinking about it, when I was watching the different reels that were from the cafe, I'm like how does this work? Like, you just pick a random song, is it like a sort of karaoke machine where you pick a song, they just do whatever? But it turns out I think you can choose either a singing or dancing. It can't be both. It has to be one or the other. So we picked dancing because we don't want to get too crazy. We obviously the boy idols, they love to dance. dance, because otherwise if they were just there for singing, they would have done busking. We asked for dancing, and they gave a list of each idol that could do dancing in the cafe. They showed what songs they can do. Not a very extensive list, but I don't blame them, because I'm sure it's not like they're practicing every single dance, like, you know, all the damn time. So I ended up requesting Myungwar to do boom 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 bass, boom boom bass, Laiji. Can't put the whole thing because copyright. You did really well. They also, I thought it was super cute. They had like little light sticks. Girl, I go to Monsta X concerts. I have the light stick. I have New Jeans light stick too, but I've never been to a concert. I also have XG's light stick. Period. But the whole time we were just like, girl, it's fun, y'all. At first, I was a little bit like, oh, this is so awkward. He's so up close. And like, I'm sure it was awkward for him too, because to be like fully dancing, especially a Rise song in this small little cafe, which actually you can choose where you want them to dance or perform or whatever. I don't know why we didn't go with the stage, but I was like, just do it up here at the front of the cafe where the entrance is, because there is more dancing space. I guess I probably would have been more comfortable for him. Did his little dance, super fun. At first I was like, this is just for the video, I'm just gonna like ha ha, but he was killing it. I honestly thought because we picked half song, so I truly thought he was gonna just like stop after the first chorus, but girl, mom, he almost went for the second chorus. He did second verse. He did mess up a little, but I thought it was super cute, very like 괜찮아. But I was like, don't worry, boy, it's okay, you can take a rest, it's fine. I got my full money's worth, I feel like. And so that was really cute. Sat back down, and there was one moment I thought it was kind of cute, like in a funny way. Not Myungwar, not the long hair guy, but the other guy that was kind of hanging out with us. He was at the edge of the table, kind of looking all cute and shit, talking to me and Eddie. And at some point, we were just having this conversation. At the end, he was like, okay, so now your time is almost up. Now you gotta pick whether or not you want to extend. I was like, oh my god, this man baited us into thinking that we were having a good conversation. But turns out he just wants us to add more time, spend more money. Woo! Capitalism! Period. But at that point, I was like, there's not much else that we can do here. We pretty much, I feel like we got a pretty good experience. And so after that, to end things off, there's a little like swing there. And so we took cute little pictures together and with a Polaroid camera. And then what they did was, girl, I thought it would be a cute little, like, just a little message on the thing, and then like a short message here. They put like a little letter. Eddie Chigunim. Oh, by the way, why didn't I mention this? The whole concept of the cafe is that they're all aliens, I guess, and we're kind of like the astronauts. Very XG vibes. Very XG. If you know, you know. So yeah, very space theme, as you can tell from like the interior was just a few little light fixtures on the ceiling, I guess. Yeah, I thought we were just get a cute little message here, but babes, well, they pulled out the paint markers, bitch. The paint markers, because they were fully decorating this shit. I was like, okay, they're gonna draw cute little hearts, but they were like shading, highlighting, value, gradation, contrast, mute, soft, saturated.
Club, another club.
So it was quite a nice experience. And I'm sure, you know, as they're decorating, you know, you can still keep talking to them. So very adorable. You get to keep it, obviously. Watch. They fill out this whole thing and they're like, nope, you can't have it. They just take it, throw it away. So that's sort of like one of your keepsake things that you have to pay for. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Would I recommend this for if you're visiting Korea? Yeah. Although I think I threw away the receipt. I remember paying around like 70,000 won, like $60, which could be cheaper if you either go alone or because I paid for me and Eddie. Plus there was that 16,000, right, from the initial yeak reservation. But and also if you want to stay longer, obviously you're going to pay more and more. So I think it's up to you, I guess. I mean, if you're that lonely bitch out there and you just want some company, you have the expendable cash, I actually don't hate it. Although the two idols that were hanging out with us were very like warm and welcoming. Not to say the two other ones weren't, but I almost want to say their kind of cold, sort of just like aloof expressions came from the fact that on one hand, the one group of girls that was like kind of aggressive and it's very like da, 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 da. The dude over at the table was kind of just more like kind of like right. But on the other hand, the other table, the girl that was being very like, not gonna lie, it was giving very much like those couples you would see around Seoul where the boyfriend and girlfriend are fighting and the girl's just like doing the whole silent treatment, like and the dude was kind of like, he wasn't like trying to talk to me. He wasn't doing that, but it was much more like he was trying to ask random questions to stir up some kind of conversation. Stir up something. But I feel like if you go to that sort of cafe, as long as you're chill, I think you have a chill time. If you're being too crazy, too aggressive, I think they're gonna react accordingly as humans do. So, or it could have just been the two dudes that were hanging out with us that were just really sweet. Who knows? Even though one of them really ended the whole thing with just, so are you gonna pay or not? I was curious though. I was like, how do you end up doing a job like this? Is it because like maybe you tried to be a trainee, it didn't work out, so you worked at a place like this, or what? You were like a busker, and this is sort of like your side gig? Because it almost seemed like, honey, they were like full schedule, honey. So I don't know. I didn't ask about that, but I do. Quite curious. Would I go again? As a 30. Oh, I'm gonna be turning 33 in a few months. That's crazy. As a 33-year-old, almost basically at this point, probably not. I could very much feel, well, did I feel old being there? Not really. They do a good job of like being like friendly level with you. I don't know how it is if you're obviously much older, but I didn't feel too much like they were like, hag, you hag. It's very like just very human interactions. I felt like, at least. It just happened to be where you can ask them to dance or sing for you, but I don't think I would ever go back. But also the sensitive side of me, where it's like, because when I have a decent conversation with someone, I feel this sort of like red string of destiny with them, and I feel like if I never went back, it'd be like cutting off that red string and being like, oh, cutting them from my life. But it's like, do I want to pay for an expensive drink and like some Polaroids just to talk to this person? We had a great conversation, but I don't know if I'd want to go back just to have another one. So I don't know. That was my experience at the Ida Cafe. Recommend if you're lonely, you have money, or if you just want like the novelty of the experience. Like, oh, I visited an idol cafe in Korea, and you want to make a TikTok or a YouTube video about it. The reels do make it very appealing. I mean, I think that's why we originally wanted to go, was because these reels made it sound like such a fun place to go. And I think because it was our first time, it was a little bit awkward. But I'm sure if we were like Tanggor, if we were like regulars there, it'd be very much like, hey, hitting up with the boys, but I'm just paying for it. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'll see you in another video. Bye. Gotta get a thumbnail. I don't know.